Y'all feeling it too out there? So I don't know about you all, but I have kind of been struggling in the past week. So much so that the video that was originally planned to go live today is not ready to go. So instead, I'm going to give you a bunch of random thoughts as I am wont to. Let's go for a walk. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, bringing you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, my brain's kind of noisy. And before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow DNA, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. So I don't know what it is, but I hit a massive wall this past week. You know, I kind of switched over to a new content production schedule such that I'm always editing on Mondays and Fridays, always writing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm always shooting video on Wednesdays, right? Only this past week, Wednesday hit, and I just could not make it happen for the life of me. I've been trying now for a few days, and it's kind of obnoxious because I have a bunch of scripts that are ready to go, but yeah, just putting the pieces together has been super difficult. Which, to be fair, we are still in the middle of a massive pandemic. I've got my first shot, hooray. Go back for the second one on April 30th. No side effects from that shot, thankfully. Didn't even have a sore shoulder, which probably means that karma is coming for me and that second shot is going to be a doozy. But I tell you what, in the meantime, it's been a wild time. I swear, we have learned a lot of somewhat unpleasant things about the people around us while we've been in lockdown and everything. And I know in the grand scheme of things, we really shouldn't be kind of making our choices about who our friends are given how they're reacting to a pretty traumatic event. But at the same time, there's some stuff that's going to be really hard to overlook after all this is done. And of course, by the same token, so many of us have had extremely limited social contacts for a very long time. I would definitely consider myself to be on the more introverted side of the spectrum, and suffice it to say, I have been going a little feral in my isolation. I think I've had face-to-face contact with maybe less than 6 people in the entirety of the past 6 months. So large gatherings, I don't know how that's going to go for me. Which, on the other hand, we are still a ways away from those being a practical, if not safe, thing. I've seen a lot of people posting about events this year with COVID plans ranging from looking moderately plausible all the way to COVID plans that are basically non-existent and being unwilling to engage in them, which is terrifying to me. Not the least of which because our community has already been hit pretty hard in the pandemic. And if we are continuing to take measures that mean that people in our community continue to be sick and struggle and everything, that is not a good look. But all that's kind of neither here nor there. And goodness only knows that a big portion of this is just the fact that I struggle with mental health in general. Depression is a omnipresent thing that likes to make itself known in my life from time to time, and sometimes it comes without any kind of provocation. That's the whole point of a mood disorder. But I have been trying to be a little bit kinder to myself of late, and when I do have those days when it just feels like I am trying to force a very, very difficult task out of me, to occasionally give myself a break and be like, hey, you know what? It's okay if you don't get this done today. Let's see about what tomorrow looks like and everything. And in the past couple days, I've noticed the oddest thing, which is that usually I kind of make a bargain with myself that I get to go out and play and flow and everything when I'm done with my work for the day, whether that be editing, whether that be shooting, what have you. And the past couple days, I've just kind of been all to heck with it, gone out and flowed anyway, and ironically enough, it's made me feel a lot better. It's interesting because I sometimes forget that the whole point of this is to do things that we enjoy. I get so focused on the idea of I have to keep up my content schedule, and I have to make sure I've got a tutorial coming every week, and I have to make sure I'm doing this and make sure I'm doing that. And if I don't, I'm like letting my audience down and everything. And there are volumes and volumes now written about parasocial relationships and the weirdnesses of, you know, the relationship of creators with their audiences on the internet. But, you know, when it all comes down to it and everything, there's this whole side part of how my world has worked for the past couple of years that involves like seeking out my flow and finding that that's a really great way to kind of emotionally process the things going on in my world. And of course, like I hold a lot of guilt when I don't get my work done for the day and everything, but at the same time, going out yesterday and flowing felt so much of a relief. And it kind of was a bit of a reminder to me of like, wait, I do this because it feels good to me, not just because like I have a channel and I have all these things that I do and everything, but also because it is something that feels good. You know, as controversial as it is to the many flow bros who love to tell me that my emphasis on flow and dance and everything is the worst thing that ever happened to my channel, it is something that makes me feel really, really good. And getting out and doing it yesterday was kind of a reminder to me of like, oh, there's a reason for that. And it's funny because I kind of feel like I have to relearn this lesson every few months or so, that like, you know, I'll go through periods where I'm like, oh, I'm too busy to get outside and flow. I'm too busy to go outside and spin just for fun and everything. And every time I kind of like tell myself, I was like, no, you need to go do this. You need to go do this now. And I go out and do it. I always discover in the course of it, it's like, oh, that's right. This is very necessary to keep my brain healthy. And now of all times, it seems like that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind. So yeah, if y'all are struggling out there, I feel you, because goodness only knows, I am too. Make sure that you're doing what you can to take care of yourself. Sometimes self-care looks like grabbing your favorite meal. Sometimes it looks like sitting down on the couch and binge watching a TV show. Sometimes it looks like making sure that you're drinking enough water, and sometimes it means making sure that you get out and flow, because it's important to your mental health, and your mental health is as important as could be in the middle of a pandemic, if it's going to be important at any time, you know? So I needed this reminder, and I figured some of you all out there might need it as well. And if you got something worthwhile out of this long ramble that I'm on right now and everything, pretty please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so that other people can find this video, and that so my channel can grow, and that makes me happy. And also do bear in mind that as much as I'm complaining about doing the work associated with my channel and everything, I do recognize that I am pretty lucky to have the audience that I do, and I love all of you out there, especially when I get to see you all apply the things that I'm teaching you. It's just I sometimes need to be reminded to do it for myself too, you know? And finally, a huge thank you, because this video would not be possible without the kind contributions of these wonderful folks right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the wonderful people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. I would not be able to walk around for 20 minutes just randomly talking about the things going on in my head were it not for their support. Because goodness only knows, the algorithm does not like this sort of thing. If you'd like to sign up to support me in my mission of bringing flow arts and poise spinning to the wider world and helping people connect with their brains and their bodies as creative beings, because it's good for them, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/DirectFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get early access to all of my content, a say in what topics I tackle in the future, plus some great extras and behind the scenes content as well. So go check that out, please and thank you. And now I am going to go grocery shopping and get myself some stuff to cook up a very, very delicious dinner tomorrow night. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you all are doing okay out there. And if you're not, I hope that you are doing what you need to take care of yourself, yeah? Awesome. Make sure to get outside and flow today. Goodness only knows. That turned my day around, and I hope it does yours too. I'll see you soon. Peace.